Good afternoon, Mr. Nkuna.
Good afternoon, Honorable ACJ and the Honorable Commissioners.
How are you this afternoon?
I am good and very much happy that the day I've long been waiting for has finally come.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to this session of the Commission's interviews, and thank you for availing yourself for consideration for appointment as Judge of the Mpumalanga Division of the High Court. I see that you hold 3 degrees, B. Juris, LLB, and LLM. Is that correct?
It is correct, Acting Chief Justice.
And you got your first 2 degrees, namely B. Juris and LLB, from the University of Zululand, and you got your master's from the University of the North, and you wrote here in collaboration with Potchefstroom University.
It is correct, ACJ.
Yeah, what does in collaboration with the Potchefstroom University mean in the context of the degree?
The program was offered by both Pew for Chair and UNIN.
Yes. Okay, and your Bureau's degree was obtained in 1991, your LLB in 1996, and then your LLM 2002. Is that right?
It is correct, ACG.
And you started your working career initially as an assistant teacher in 1981.
It is correct.
And in 1983, you became a clerk in the Department of Justice and a court interpreter and a clerk. Is that right?
It is correct.
And then 1989 to 1993, you were a public prosecutor. And in 1993, April to July, you were acting magistrate. Is that correct?
It is correct, ACJ.
And in July 1993, you were appointed as a magistrate. And that was up to 2004, is that correct?
It is correct, ACJ.
And from 2004 to date, you are a regional magistrate.
It is correct, ACJ.
Yes. Now, during the time that you have been at different levels of being a magistrate, have you adjudicated civil cases?
In fact, I've got a very solid foundation and background of civil law. When I joined the Department of Justice as a clerk interpreter, at the same time, I was also serving as a clerk of the civil court, where all civil processes begin. And when interpreting in the civil court, all those arguments, submissions, everything that was happening in that court did not get in through one ear and got out through the other ear.
Yes, I understand that, Mr. Nkuna, but remember, my question is adjudication, not interpretation.
Okay, thank you.
Whether you adjudicated civil cases during the time or when you were at different levels of being a magistrate.
After I was appointed as magistrate, I was later appointed as head of office at 2 different stations. During those days, there was an undocumented tradition or practice that civil matters were mainly done by the head of office only. I was the only one who was doing civil matters. Fast forward, now in the regional court as regional court magistrate, I'm doing both criminal and civil. I'm actually doing 2 courts alone. That is Palabora and Lulegan, without any assistant, not even a typist, nor a clerk, everything alone by myself. And when I was invited to do my acting stint in the Gauteng division, I was only allocated civil matters. So with civil matters, I don't have a problem at all.
So let's talk about the time before you were appointed to the regional court. Just when you were a magistrate, I just want to get an idea how much exposure you got to the adjudication of civil cases. Just talk about that period only.
In fact, even before I was head of office, at the time when I was additional magistrate, at our court where I was, we're doing everything. So I've been doing civil matters from 1993 to date.
Yes. Now, during that period, that is when you are still a magistrate, not regional magistrate, what types of civil matters were you adjudicating?
Although I cannot mention them one by one, I will generally say...
I don't want you to mention them. I want
all
the types.
I did all civil matters which were justiciable in the district court.
Yeah, what branches of law? That's what I want to the exposure. Was it debt collection?
Debt collection, administration of estates, damages, a lot of them, credit agreement, mainly everything.
And at regional court level, how much exposure have you had to the adjudication of civil matters?
When the civil jurisdiction was introduced, I think it was 2015, was introduced in the regional court. I've been doing civil up to now.
Yeah, how much exposure has that given you to the adjudication of civil matters?
In terms of
volumes and in terms of different types of cases?
Well, although it seems I don't get the question well, but...
branches of law, I want to hear about branches of law, the cases
delict,
that come before you.
Contract, road accident funds, various court interdicts, divorces,
yes,
damages,
yes,
all of those.
Okay. Now, you became a magistrate from July 1993 and became a regional magistrate from 2004 to date. But I see that in paragraph 8 of the questionnaire, where you were asked to indicate particulars of your membership of any political organization, past or present, you have said African National Congress, and the position is member, and you say you have been a member of you were a member of the ANC from 1982 to 2015. Is that correct?
It is correct, ACG.
But how you were already a magistrate from 2004. Why did you keep membership of a political party while you were on the bench?
What happened was after I joined the ANC, every time again you have to renew your membership. I did not personally renew the membership myself. Well, a friend of mine, a relative of mine, used to do that. But then I wasn't even aware myself. So in 2015, because we're no longer staying in the same place, he came to me and said, Mzee, you must remember you owe me so much. I said, for what? He said, this and this and that. I've always been renewing your membership. I said, no, you shouldn't have done that. You have to stop it. So he did not renew it until 2015 when I became aware.
I'm sorry, just repeat. What are you saying?
In fact, a relative of mine who recruited me to join the ANC in 1982 is the one who, it was not only me alone. He used to renew our membership on our behalf. We are no longer staying in the same place because we moved to different places. Well, every time we used to continue, as a family, renew our memberships. So the only time I met him again, it was 2015, I think. So as we're talking and all this, he said to me, Mzimi's cousin, you must know that you're owing me so much. I said, what is it for? He said, no, you have not been renewing your membership. I've always been renewing your membership. So you have to pay me. I said, no. You shouldn't have done that. You did not even inform me. So please don't continue to do that. So he stopped doing it from 2015. He never renewed my membership.
But you never resigned from the ANC, did you?
Well, in terms of the ANC constitution, if you don't renew your membership within a particular period, you are total out. You don't need to officially.
Now, are you telling us that for about 10 years, every year, there was this person renewing your membership of the ANC without you knowing?
It's correct. I must tell the truth.
When you renew, you are not required to sign anything.
No.
Yeah, but he was paying his or her own money on your behalf.
Yes.
For 10 years.
Yes.
Without you knowing.
Exactly.
Judge President.
Thank you. Mr. Nkuna, I was not going to ask you any question if you were not a judicial officer, especially seen in the light of the interaction which you had with the acting Chief Justice. And I think, out of concern from my side, I feel obliged to ask you some few questions.
Thank you, JP.
Would you agree that as a judicial officer, you need to have integrity, character, and temperament?
It is correct.
Now, you are aware that NADEL, Law Society, BLA, and GCB made comments about you.
Yes.
And in your response to these comments, or some of these comments, in paragraph 3.5 of your letter dated 24 September 2021, you said the following: according to me and how I know myself, I am satisfied that that period of 4 weeks, and remember, they are all saying 4 weeks of acting is not enough and perhaps you need enough time to act. That period of 4 weeks was honestly more than enough for a person like me. Now, you have just made a statement when the Chief Justice asked you the first question, and you said this, and that was with reference to your experience regarding civil litigation. And this is what you said: I have a very solid background in civil litigation. Now, here's my concern. I have always thought that we need to allow our actions to speak for ourselves. Do you truly believe in that?
Yes, I do.
Now, are you worried by the statement that you have made this morning and the statement which you have made in your letter of the 24th September 2021 that perhaps that belief is not applicable to you? Because you are saying, according to me and how I know myself, I am satisfied that the period of 4 weeks was honestly more than enough for a person like me. Do you?
It is true.
Yeah, it is true, but do you really, with this statement, believe that you believe in the principle that we should allow our actions to speak for us?
Well, maybe I may not be understanding the question, but I still stand by those words that as far as I know myself, I am ready.
And yes,
And I can do any civil matter. And during my acting stint, all the matters that I dealt with in the High Court were only civil matters. And as you may have seen, all my judgments were delivered within 10 days. In one matter, which I did at Toyando, when I checked the file, it had moved from one acting judge to another acting judge, from one acting judge to another permanent judge.
okay.
It was a voluminous matter, but after having gone through the file, the very same file, I received it that morning for the first time. I did not get it a day before or what. Even the councils, in the morning, they came to me and said, we are sorry to understand you've just arrived and you are getting this file for the first time. We are prepared to have the matter postponed so that you can have a time to go through it. I said, give me just some few minutes, about 30 minutes. I'll come back to you. In these 30 minutes, I was able to go through the file and realize that no, I cannot be intimidated by the size of the file.
Okay.
There is actually nothing.
Okay.
I delivered the judgment
Okay.
in 30 days.
Okay, Mr. Nkuna, let us take it a step further, especially from what you say.
Thank you.
Paragraph 6.4.2 of the GCB's comments, they speak about you. They speak about a judgment which was on appeal handed down by Khanyago J and Paduli J. And listen to what they're saying about you. And that is in paragraph 31 of that judgment. And I note that in your letter of the 24th September, you did not respond to it. And I'm just raising to this because this is very critical because you remain to be a judicial officer. And listen to what they're saying about you. Another area of concern in the proceedings in the Kotako is the unwarranted interruptions and unjustifiable entry into the arena by the presiding magistrate. It will therefore be prudent to quote a few examples to show the seriousness of the misdirection by the trial magistrate. Close quote. Now, this is very serious. Would you agree with me? And do you want to comment on this?
Well, first and foremost, I did respond in my letter dated 24 September 2021.
And what did you say?
I can again respond even now. First and foremost, the case referred to was a regional court matter. The question relates to cases which I did during my acting stint. Had I mentioned that case, a regional court matter, I would have been irrelevant to the question. But be that as it may, after I received those complaints, I had the opportunity to go through the case again. Well, with respect, I respect the comments indicated, but the truth is this. When you are a presiding officer or a magistrate, amongst other things, your responsibility is to see to it that justice is done. Justice means that you also cannot allow an injustice happening under your watch. In that matter, the defense was not cross-examining the state witness. He was, in fact, disorganizing him and harassing him. I couldn't fold my arms and watch as an umpire, and even an umpire. He's there to see to it that the rules of the games are followed. You would ask one question which was previously overruled 10 times in different ways. So I was trying to indicate to him, for the sake of time, that Mr. So-and-so, you have already asked this person. You can't keep on asking the same thing. I have never descended to the arena as far as the merits of the matter is concerned.
Chair, thank you.
Thank you. Premier.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. No question.
Thank you. Commissioner Nyambi.
Morning, Mr. Nkuna.
Morning, Honorable Commissioner.
One question from me. If you can share with us your understanding of the difference between judicial accountability and judicial independence.
Well, judicial independence, it means, because it stems from the doctrine of trias politica, separation of powers. It means that whatever the judiciary does should not be interfered with by the other organs of the state. But judicial accountability, it means whatever you do, you must account to the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. By the Constitution, amongst other things, it includes the citizens of the Republic of South Africa.
Thank you, Mr. Nkuna. Thank you, ACJ.
Thank you. Commissioner Madonsela.
Thank you, ACJ. Good afternoon. Dr. Paul Nkuna.
Good afternoon.
I just want to declare that you and I were in the same class for 3 years.
Exactly.
And when I saw your form, I remembered this handwriting, which was written in your left hand, because I used to have your notes where when you always attended lectures and I was busy somewhere. And I would, I would rely on your notes.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still remember those days.
We had good times. Yes. I thought I should disclose that upfront, and I can see that resilience in you even today, as you were even in those days. Tell me, I see you have gone on to do a master's in environmental law.
Yes.
Have you been able to deal with cases in your judicial experience having to do with the environmental law?
Oh, that is my passion. Even now as I'm speaking, I've got a marathon matter around environmental law. As now I'm stationed along the Kruger National Park, obviously on the day-to-day basis, we'll deal with a lot of environmental matters. And because of my passion in environmental law, this is even known. Sajay would from time to time request me to come and address district magistrates on the adjudication of environmental matters.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Madonsela. Commissioner Pofu.
Thank you. Good morning, afternoon.
Afternoon, Commissioner.
Thank you. I just wanted to say this, some things never change. Yes. We were here until 3 a.m. on Tuesday, and Commissioner Matonzalo was busy somewhere.
Preparing for an appeal in Namibia, yes.
Thank you. Yes, no, I just wanted to follow up on Commissioner Nyambi's issue on judicial independence and to relate that to this issue of your membership of the ANC. You do understand, all right, let me put it this way. Why do you think in our form we ask that question, question 8, which says, please furnish your membership of any political organization, past and present?
Well, the reason is very clear. As a presiding officer, there are matters which may appear before you involving political organizations, and you'll have to deal with those matters. So if you retain a membership of a particular organization, whether at the end of the day you rule in favor or against, the public perception out there, they will always say it is because it belongs to this organization.
Good. So even if you exercise the best independence, your decision will be questioned because justice must not just be done, it must also be seen to be done.
Exactly, Commissioner.
Right. Now, so you'd agree then, let's accept for now the story about somebody renewing your membership for you. You'd agree that for that period of those those renewals, then it means you were in breach of that principle.
Yes, I admit.
Yes. So how did you join the ANC in 1982?
Hey, I'm afraid to disclose that, but I will disclose because when I joined the ANC in 1982, the ANC was still underground. So I don't have the permission of the person who recruited me to join the ANC to mention his name. Otherwise, I would mention it.
What will happen to him? Because the ANC is unbanned now.
I'm sorry?
I'm saying the ANC is unbanned now. What will happen to that person? I joined the ANC in 1980, and I can tell you how
what I'm
joined it.
saying is he did not give me permission to mention his name. But I joined the ANC when it was still underground. They used to go around and give us forms and lecture us about the ANC. That's the time I joined the ANC. Okay.
No, that's what I wanted to ask you about, because there was, I don't want you to mention anybody's name, but my question was how, and you've answered that question. You said they gave you forms. Forms, what kind of forms?
Just to complete your name, where do you stay, and all those kind of things. Your particulars, in short.
And a form, and say, I'm now joining the ANC in 1982.
Yes. Yes.
In the country.
You were living in South Africa at the time?
Inside South Africa. Eh?
Yes,
They gave you
I'm
those
living in
forms.
South Africa.
You were inside South Africa.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
Can I just?
You are done.
No.
Oh,
No, I think, I'm done. Thank you.
Commissioner Traba.
thanks, Commissioner Bofo SC has asked the questions I wanted to ask. Do you remember signing the ANC form in 1982?
Yes, it cost us something to sign.
How much did you pay?
No, we did not pay.
Did not pay anything?
No, we did not pay anything.
Do you remember receiving a membership card?
He gave us membership card in 1989. When we again signed the new forms, In 1989, again, when the ANC was still unbanned at the University of Zululand, that was the first time when I received the membership card.
Okay, thank you. I have no further question.
So, just follow up. Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry. So in 1989, you received a membership card.
Yes, at Zululand.
Yeah. And then the person who in 2015 said that he had been doing these renewals for you, how much did he say you owed him?
Well, I can't remember the exact amount as to how much he said. He only said you owe me some money, mentioned the figure, but I did not keep it in my head.
But
Because it was not a formal meeting. We had gathered as a family. It was a family ritual. So we just brought it in and said,
all right. No, that's fine. Let's leave that. Okay. Once you discovered that there had been this technical mishap, let's call it that, did you take any steps to inform the Department of Justice or the magistracy? I don't know how it works. To say, look, there has been this ethical breach. I was not aware of it, but I just want to report it. Did you do anything like that?
No, that I did not do. The only step I took was to revisit the constitution of the ANC to check if I should formally withdraw my membership. That's when I realized that it was not necessary, because if you did not renew it after a particular period when your membership has expired, you are automatically out. So as far as the commission, I must admit, I did not take it up. I did not take it up, I must be honest. I thought...
no,
anyway,
fair enough. So, but that was in 2015?
Yes.
In other words, even when you became aware that there was this technical glitch, you remained a member of the ANC until the next payment was due, and then it lapsed.
No. The membership was supposed to have been renewed in 2015. And from 2015, it was not renewed.
Thank you, Mr.
I'm not going to take more questions really. I'm going to allow, sorry, Commissioner Nyambi,
It was a follow-up about that issue.
I'll ask them to ask their questions, and then you can tell me afterwards whether you still feel that you need the follow-up. Just, Commissioner Makwanisha?
No, I think
You are covered.
Chief Justice, I'm covered. No, this matter has been
Yes, has been dealt with. Yeah.
ventilated properly. Yes.
Thank you, Judge President Lambo.
Thank you very much, Acting Chief Justice. Good. Abshen Tata.
Phukile mjani JP?
Awa, sihlayisekile.
Inkomo.
Sirela skona.
Naye akunasirilo.
There are commissioners who don't believe I speak 11 languages, but anyway.
No, just like me, I speak all languages in South Africa.
I just want to move you back to your work, and it's only fair that I raise this with you because we've raised it with your colleague Laminga, and it was raised with your colleague Langa. I have to raise it with you. We received the Correctional Services tracking document about awaiting trial detainee parted trials. There's a Nkuna who appears on the document right at the top in Palabora. You would have been given that document yesterday.
Yes.
It's a trial that's been parted for over 6 years.
Yes.
Is that one of your cases?
Yes.
Right, and I just want you to explain to the Commission how come it's lasted so long. And I take cognizance of the fact that in the station where you are, you're the only regional magistrate. Am I correct?
In fact, I serve 2 stations being one.
Yes.
Palabora and Lulekane.
Yes, and as the only regional magistrate.
Yes,
Yeah.
doing both criminal and civil.
Well, I think the members of parliament who are in charge of justice are listening.
But can you explain to us how come this trial has taken so long, if all of it was under your watch?
I think whoever lodged this complaint did not go through the record properly.
There's no complaint. It's
Okay.
just an issue we are raising as a commission
Okay.
with you.
Thanks, JP. This accused, I think his name is case 53 of 2014. In this case, the accused referred to in the letter I received yesterday, he is not the only accused person. He's appearing with another accused. They have at all material times been released on their own recognizances. They have never been in custody. Now, accused number 2, they are referring to, whilst was on his own recognizance, he committed other offenses. And in those offenses, he was kept in custody in the district court, not in the regional court. Now, after one time he did not appear, he was in default in the regional court. That is when I picked it up that he had other matters in which he was now in custody in the district. I then asked the prosecutor if those cases which are still in the district will later be justiciable in the regional court. He said, yes, they will be regional court matters. I then suggested to the prosecutor, look, let us not proceed with this matter in which is now proceeding in the regional court. Because if I proceed with these 4 counts and at a later stage, they transfer the other counts to the regional court, it will mean I will have to recuse myself in respect of that matter. And it will be very difficult to get another regional court magistrate to come and do this matter. We waited for those cases. They were later transferred to the regional court. We joined the matters. In those matters was in custody, the ones which were transferred from the district. Because he had come to court on his own in the matter which was already in the regional court, we agreed it will only be fair to grant this gentleman bail. Indeed, on the 28th, in November 2018, he was granted bail. Thereafter, the trial began. When we were in the middle of the trial, I realized, he was having this strange behavior. I said, no, we cannot proceed if it's like this. I invoked Section 77. We referred him for mental observation. In Limpopo, there's only one institution that deals with that. If you can refer a psychiatric patient now, you will be lucky to get the earliest date anytime before June next year.
Mr. Nkuna, let me just stop you there because you giving us a long-winded story. Are you trying to tell us that the 6 years awaiting trial there is in relation to other offenses, but it was not before you?
No, it was not.
That's what we expected you to tell us.
I wanted to clarify so that maybe it could be clear as to how it came about. Even now, as I'm speaking,
Yes.
we have proceeded. The state has led the evidence of the last state witness,
Yes.
just last week.
Yes.
When the defense was about to cross-examine the last state witness, he changed and started behaving unusual. We stopped again. What do? We have now agreed that, okay, let us call the doctors who assessed him. Maybe they will come and tell us if it needs a reassessment, it will need to be reassessed again.
Mr. Nkuna, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I think, although what you're saying now is important for members of the Justice Portfolio Committee, the issue of one mental institution for Limpopo has been a problem. In fact, at some stage, it wasn't there in Mpumalanga. All those cases were being sent to Gauteng, hence Gauteng was overloaded. But I'm happy you brought it up. I didn't. But I take it you're saying it's not parted before you for 6 years.
No.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Chief Justice.
Thank you. Commissioner Nyambi, do you feel strongly you're fine? Okay, all right. Commissioners on the virtual platform, any question?
Nothing, thank you, Acting Chief Justice.
Thank.
Chief Justice, if I may raise one question.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, sir. I would like you to deal with the question of jurisdiction once you're sitting as a High Court judge in a matter where a financial institution sues a person for a relatively small amount of money in your court. How would you deal with that situation?
I did not understand the question. May you repeat it?
Certainly.
Yeah, I think he's asking you to repeat the question.
Yes. A financial institution or bank sues a person for a relatively small amount of money and brings that matter before you as a High Court judge. I'd like to know how you approach that situation, please.
Well, I will proceed with the matter, but when it comes to course, I will grant the magistrate, I will grant a course on the magistrate scale.
Thank you, ACJ. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we have come to the end of this interview. Thank you for having availed yourself, Mr. Nkuna. You are now excused.
Thank you very much, ACJ, and thank you, commissioners.
Mr. Nkuna, I thought you'll tell the commission, me and you used to play football many years ago in Namahale.
Yeah.
But you couldn't score when I was goalkeeper.